Kevin Thelwell's empire crumbles, and now his own son is clinging on by a thread as the walls close in. Ryan Jack returns and drops a brutal truth bomb about the lost soul of Ibrox. Kevin Muscat finally breaks silence on snubbing the Rangers job, and what he says will leave your blood boiling. And Billy Davies, he's not holding back, slamming Thelwell for turning his back on advice that could have saved his neck. Smash that like button and come with me. You know that feeling when you walk back into your childhood home and something just feels off? That's what Ryan Jack's about to experience this Thursday night at Ibrox. The midfield warrior, who gave Rangers 7 years of blood, sweat, and thunder, will be back in the stands to watch the Europa League tie against Braga. But let's be honest, he's not expecting the old Ibrox roar. And coming from a man who's felt the place tremble on those famous European nights, that hits hard. Now, let's be crystal clear. This isn't the Rangers that marched to Seville. This is a side rock bottom of the Europa League group, 0 points from 4 matches, 1 measly goal scored, and 8 conceded. That's not just a dip, that's a nosedive, and yet after a hard-fought 2-1 win over Livingston at the weekend, Danny Röhl might be clinging to some hope. But here's where it stings. The man who once fought in the trenches of Europe for Rangers has come out and said what many are too scared to admit: Ibrox doesn't scare teams anymore. Jack said it himself. Away sides come now and enjoy it. That's not just a slap in the face, that's a full-blown wake-up call. He's right about one thing, though. The fan base hasn't vanished. You're still showing up, you're still singing, but has the soul of Ibrox been lost in the noise from the boardroom? With Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart finally shown the door this week, Jack reckons there's a chance to bring that spark back. The protests, the frustration, the discontent, it's been bubbling for ages. Now there's a gap for change. So the big question you need to ask is this: has Ibrox lost its fear factor, or have the players simply stopped earning it? It's the kind of family drama you normally get in a soap, but this one's playing out inside Ibrox. After Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart were both handed their marching orders earlier this week, all eyes have now turned to Robbie Thelwell, Rangers head of first-team recruitment and Kevin's son. Aye, you heard that right. The man pulling the strings in player recruitment is the very lad hired by his da. Now, let's be honest, there was always a cloud hanging over this one. Rangers folk were rightly suspicious the moment Robbie walked through the doors, not on the back of merit or experience, but because his old man was already warming a seat. And with the club already reeling from a poor summer window, many are now shouting the same thing: why is the son still standing when the father's been emptied? Veteran journo Hugh Keevins hasn't minced his words either. He's called it untenable. That's not just a passing comment, that's a warning shot. He's saying Robbie cannot survive another window at Rangers, not when his entire presence reeks of nepotism. Now, maybe there's a strategic review going on behind the scenes. Maybe Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers are taking their time before the next axe drops. But let's be real, you're not daft. You know when something doesn't sit right. The longer this drags on, the more it feels like one rule for some and another for the rest of the club. Here's the big one to throw out there. Should Rangers ever again allow a father to hire his own son into a top footballing role at Ibrox? Well, a Kevin Muscat's finally broken his silence, and it's clear he wants to keep things nice and tidy. But for you watching this, there's plenty to read between the lines. Let's rewind for a second. Muscat was all but nailed on to take over at Ibrox. Talks were held in London, hands were virtually shaken, and then suddenly he backed off. No clear reason, no clear explanation, just a polite thanks but no thanks. Now he's popped back up, sitting on top of a Chinese league title, saying how respectful the talks were and how professional the Rangers board were. But come on, this wasn't just some polite misunderstanding. His change of heart left the club scrambling. Gerrard had already said no. Danny Röhl had ruled himself out publicly. And in the middle of that mess, Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart who were already clinging on by a thread. Muscat's U-turn only made their failures more obvious, and days later, both were out the door. Muscat now says everyone's comfortable and that it's best left alone. But that's easy to say after lifting a trophy in Shanghai and dodging the pressure cooker of Ibrox, isn't it? Did Kevin Muscat bottle the Ibrox job because he knew he couldn't handle the expectations, or was the chaos behind the scenes at Rangers just too toxic for any top manager to touch? Right, strap in for this one, because Billy Davies has just lit a fire under the already smoldering wreckage left behind by Kevin Thelwell. You might know Billy Davies as the no-nonsense former Ibrox midfielder, a man who's managed up and down the leagues and understands the pressure cooker that is Rangers Football Club. But more than that, he was the one who gave Kevin Thelwell his first real shot in football. Back at Preston North End, it was Davies who appointed him director of youth and put him on the path that eventually led all the way to Glasgow. So when Thelwell landed at Ibrox, Davies did what any proper football man would do. He reached out, he offered to meet, to guide him, to give him the inside scoop on the unique beast that is Rangers, the politics, the press, the expectations, the goldfish bowl effect, everything Thelwell clearly didn't understand. But instead of taking that offer, Thelwell did the unthinkable. He ghosted him. Not even a quick coffee, not even a text. Just flat out ignored it. Now, Davies has gone public and he's raging. On the SNN Sports podcast, he made it crystal clear Thelwell's refusal to take advice wasn't just disrespectful, it was downright stupid. He said he could have helped Thelwell handle the scrutiny, navigate the demands, and avoid the mess that ultimately saw him booted out the door after just 6 months. Davies didn't hold back. He reminded everyone that Thelwell was looked after financially through his career, guided and supported. And this was how he repaid it, by turning his back on the very person who could have saved him from disaster. But here's the kicker. Davies said Thelwell made a mistake, not a minor misstep, not a miscommunication, a full-blown error in judgment, the kind that cost him his job and left Rangers reeling after a shambolic summer window. It's not just a footballing fallout, it's a personal betrayal, one that shows just how far out of his depth Thelwell truly was. Now, be honest, if you were given a lifeline by someone who built your career, would you ever dare throw it back in their face? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.